Hello and very warm welcome in this edition of Insight. Today is the 50th day of demonetization as the government announced on the evening of the 8th November of demonetization. Since then, a lot of water has been flown in the rivers across India. There have been an unstoppable debate on the move. As PM himself asked to have the patience for the 50 days of ordeal in the name of eradicating corruption. Now this time is coming to an end. So now onwards, long queues and mayhem in banks will feed the fodder to those who are criticizing the move. And it will sharp the verbal knife theirs about the unpreparedness of the government. On the other hand, the government doesn't seem blinking. It has come out with the ordinance aiming to bring much needed clarity over note ban. The ordinance ends the legal tender status of the old currency notes. Possession of banned notes will be penal offence from December 31st. One can only have maximum of 10 old notes. After December 30th, banned notes will be submitted through select branches of RBI. There will be specified fines on possession of banned notes, though there is no clarity in the ordinance that whether the penalties prescribed by it will apply to those who are holding on to their old notes to deposit them between December 30th and March 31st or only after March 31st. But people who are possessed unaccounted wealth have one last chance to come clean by making declaration under the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, a scheme which opened on December 17th and closes on March 31st of this year. On the other hand, government is pushing for digital transaction. It has come out with the various steps. It will soon launch a nationwide toll-free number, helpline number to educate people about cashless transaction and provide support related to such transaction. The center has already launched a TV channel, Digi Salha, and has launched two lucky draw. This is called Digi Dhan Yojana for businessmen and Lucky Grahak Yojana for consumers to encourage digital transaction. So how would be the scenario in the new year? And the ordeal of a common man will come to an end. With almost 90% or more money is now back in the banks, the motive of making can flummoxed, corrupts or black money holders is achieved. Ordinance is mere legality or something else? We will be discussing in this episode of Insight. And we are asking a few questions as well to the common man, and we have been joined by three prominent guests. What will be the roadmap post the demonetization period? This is the last chance for the black money holders. Will ordinance scare the crooks and force them to deposit the money in banks? When will the cap of withdrawing limited currency come to an end? And when will one get to see the advertised benefit of demonetization in form of tax cuts and lower interest rate? Is the time over of another bold move by the government, or we can get to know some other bold move? We have been joined by three guests. Let me introduce you, Dr. Aminullah Khan. He is an economist. Very warm welcome in our show. Mr. Shantanu Guha Roy, India editor, Central European News. Welcome also in the show.
Thank
and
you.
Jyoti Mukul, she's associate editor, Business Standard. Welcome in the show. Dr. Aminullah Khan, let me start with you. What would you say? How do you see this 50 days period? This motive has achieved or not? Because the PM will come very soon with the pronouncement of another bold move or something else. How do you see it?
It's a tough question because the first issue is what was the motive behind this move. If the motive was to get black money out of the system.
And or let me phrase that. What about the coming out with an ordinance?
Yes.
Is it the legal
Yes.
formality or something else?
Yes, it's actually the questions are related. So when this move happened 50 days ago, the big question was that is this a legal move or not? Can it be declared by the executive in a midnight order? And therefore there was this discussion that happened for some time, and there was this view which said that yes, the Prime Minister can do this so long as appropriate board of the Reserve Bank has advised him. And we later came to know that there was some such meeting, and the Reserve Bank of India actually suggested that this move be taken. So that got taken care of. But it never was very clear as to how the courts would take up this issue. The Supreme Court gave some indication by putting it on the back burner. They did not really take it up, said that the high courts would and so on, and therefore that remained vague. There was a ministerial announcement that there was no need for an ordinance to justify or to go ahead with demonetization on, I think, the 15th of November. But now I think what is clear is that to move ahead, there is the need to protect it with a parliamentary ordinance and later a law. Now, why is this required? Because tomorrow the facility of returning notes to banks is being withdrawn, and therefore the government is preparing to ensure that those notes that still remain in circulation can be later declared illegal tender. Now, you see, this is the legal issue that is still very vague. Can a note that is issued by the government, signed by the Reserve Bank of India, that's out in circulation, can it ever be declared illegal? You can demonetize it, you can ask it to be returned to the bank, but if I possess a note like that, then is the government honor bound, is the Reserve Bank honor bound to promise to pay the bearer the sum of X rupees whenever the note is presented to the bank? And therefore, this date of March 31st also in some sense is a void date according to this argument. This way, by making notes, the possession of notes illegal, we are putting that question to rest. So, there is no question of debating whether this money will be honored or not by declaring the hoarding or the keeping of that money itself illegal. That is why it has been done. It is in some sense a repeat of what had happened during Morarji Desai's time, that the same issue, that you cannot keep a 10,000 rupee note, and therefore it put paid to the debate of whether that note could ever be redeemed by at the Reserve Bank of India or not.
Mr. Chandrakumar, your comment about this coming out with an ordinance, and what was the necessity of this ordinance, and will this scare the crooks to come out or deposit whatever the money has left to them to deposit in the bank?
You know, I think it's very interesting what Dr. Khan said. I think all cash transactions are not illegal, but ironically, every illegal transaction happens in cash. It's a peculiar country we have, where we have great aspirational level that black money should eventually come back to us, or black money should come out on the streets or go to the banks, but it has never happened. The way it was done, the way Prime Minister announced this, the way he announced it and made it absolutely a point that from now onwards, I am giving you a certain time to return the money. The pressure on the banks, the huge queues, the ATMs going dry, whether that could have been improved first and then the announcement made, and I would rather say that would have been done first and then the announcement made, things would have been better. But I think what has happened is there is a comfort zone of people who have huge illegal cash, and like a big beehive, that has been dented by the Prime Minister, and that has instantly evoked a lot of reaction across the country. What kind of reactions are you seeing? What kind of reactions are you hearing or watching on television, on radio? You are hearing countless arguments saying this has put the poor at trouble, but very few people are saying the kind of money that has gone back to the bank. Let's refer to a small story tucked inside December 7th, the 17th page of, if I remember, the Times of India, December 24th. You will see the multiple cases across the country, somewhere 35 crores, somewhere 25 crores. All money have been found stashed away. The idea was to get the money back into circulation, get the money back into the bank, to empower the poor. Whether the poor actually gets empowered, that's a big challenge the government has to accept and the government has to execute. But I fully support these kind of moves where money, the cash transactions, that becomes a bane of the society or the economy, that needs to stop at any way. So this big push is the push of the government in the comfort zone of the 10% of people who control the entire country. And that's why you're seeing a hue and cry. Now let's come back to this legislation that comes in now. That's a government move. It's a move of the judiciary and the executive. They'll take a call whether tomorrow or by tonight midnight things cease to exist and those notes are redundant and nothing like blotting paper. So this is one more chance the government is giving people to return the money. They should have returned it earlier. They didn't unless they were pushed. Hopefully some people will react, some people will still find ways. In India there is a peculiar system we have that runs parallelly. So there are some people who go to the straight way, there are others who can manipulate the way. It's almost like getting a car license, that without driving you can still manage it. So there will be some people who will still try and encash that money without paying that 30% tax. There will be bank officers who will be caught because of these illegal deals. But overall, I think it's a great move to try and get the black money out in the streets. That's important for the nation. Now, the means of doing that, I have a serious problem in that, because suddenly millions of people don't have black money in their home. They run on cash. As a result, they were hugely inconvenienced, and they still are being inconvenienced. I have come back traveling through the countryside last night, and I've seen huge queues still outside the banks in various states. I traveled through 3 states, and I saw a very pathetic situation there. The ground reality needs to change before a great move like this can be successful.
One more question. When almost 90% of the more money is already back into the banks, and what was the necessity of having an ordinance with the provision of penalizing people and
I'm not aware of the internal
the fear of incarceration.
I'm not aware of what internal mechanization goes in the government, in the finance ministry. There probably are information that there is a significant amount of money still lying outside and that has still not come in. Look at the raids on some of the most amazing people. The arrest of Paras Malhotra, the chief secretary of the Tamil Nadu government. I mean, those are bizarre cases are now coming in front. The kind of money they had amassed, the kind of power they had. Now, I think these kind of processes, the government is giving one last chance. Otherwise, more raids will come in. Be good copy for journalists. Yeah.
Okay. How do you see, Jyoti Mukul, this move, and especially the ordinance with the provision of incarceration and the penalizing people if they if they caught with the old banned currency?
Well, the details of the ordinance are not out as yet, though the government should have made it, public, even if the presidential signature wasn't there, because this is something which impacts everyone, and there's no harm letting some details known officially. I believe there were some informal briefings by the Ministry of Finance, but all this, the penalty aspect is not yet clear. The issue I have with penalty is that, not all cash, as he mentioned, is black money. So in case somebody is left with cash, and that is more than the permissible 10 notes and I think 20 notes.
25 notes of some.
So that does not make him a criminal. So why should, it's not, as somebody said, it's not same as possessing cocaine or drug, that you start penalizing people. And we have seen in the past that for various things, wherever government officials are empowered to penalize people or launch a prosecution against them, there is a victimization of ordinary people. There is corruption, so this government control is not good. And especially from a government which spoke about minimum government and maximum governance. So this is a case where the stranglehold of government officials will increase over various aspects, and we all know that the tax department is considered to be one of the most corrupt departments in the country. So to totally rely on them and let people who don't have black money, leaving them at their mercy, probably is not the right thing to do. As far as the gains of demonetization is concerned, we were told that it is for addressing black money issue. Maybe to some extent it has addressed that issue, but if you look at the demonetization which happened during Morarji Desai's time, it was for 1,000, 5,000 and I think 10,000 notes, which were at that point of time very high value currency notes. Now demonetizing 500 and 1,000 notes at a time when that money does not have much value, I don't know how far that addresses the issue of black money. It caused inconvenience to most people in the country, and for no fault of theirs. And you lost a lot of precious productive time of people who were in queues. There are reports, news reports coming that sowing has not been good because farmers needed cash for sowing purpose. There are businesses which are down because of, as it is, there's a slowdown in the economy, the demand was low, so that further impacted It's a matter of debate that how much percentage of the GDP will be impacted. That's a different thing. You can go on to the statistics
Okay.
and argue about it. But at the ground level, we do see that people have been impacted. So the gains, I'm not really sure of what gains we are going to get.
Okay. Dr. Khan, what will be the roadmap? Do you see the post-demonetization drive, I mean the post-30th of December, and do you see any relief to the common man in terms of with this cap of withdrawing money from the ATMs and banks?
Right. So let's look at all these issues. Your basic issue, the question that you're basically asking, first about this making holding of more than 10 or more than 25
money, or rupees
notes
note.
illegal. The big question there is that can we have such a provision? What if Shantanu wants to keep old notes? It's his cash and he wants to keep 50 of those for his grandchildren. I mean, how can you make that an illegal act?
But he has to declare money. He can keep the money, but I think he has to declare.
No, right now it only says that you
only 10
cannot
or
keep more than 10. Right?
10 or, okay.
Except for antique value or something. I don't know how he is going to prove that.
Yeah.
The second, no, except for research value. Now, how can I show that?
25 rupees note for
That'll be a good
numismatic.
move for you.
So how will I
You can
show?
keep that
So
for
how will
research value.
So how do I prove it that it's for
Prove
suppose
by doing
suppose I
research.
keep two gunny bags of currency and write a note there saying for research. Is that what it means? The first issue is that. Secondly, does this mean that now any one of you can walk into my house and check on whether I have that cash or not? How will we find that people have cash with them? Will it mean those same corrupt tax inspectors walking in, or the new corrupt now, which seems to be the new bankers, my bank manager walking into my house and checking how many notes I have? What kind of policing will that lead to? That's the second issue. The third issue is simply an ethical issue of making the holding of cash itself illegal. What Jyoti referred to, that holding cash is not illegal. Cash is legal tender and it can never be illegal. So you know what is the big issue that comes out, the big concern that emerges from this new move is that this is the 60th step that the government has taken in 50 days. Right? Now, how long are we going to see such moves coming up? Why did we have such a move? It's clearly out of, as Jyoti again said, that we don't know, we've not been told why. So we can only, guess. And the reason could be that there is obviously a situation where most of that money, or maybe all that 15 lakh crore rupee has come back. And therefore, if there is some 50,000 crore left, then we have to ensure that that doesn't come back. And that at least that is the gain. To the other point that Shantanu makes, and some people are making this, that look at what is happening around. So many people getting arrested, so many people getting caught. So I actually did a little back of the envelope calculation and an adding up of all this that has been done. So 30 lakhs somewhere, 12 lakhs somewhere, 15 crores somewhere, 90 crores somewhere. All that I could find from various newspapers is about 600 crore rupees. 600 crore rupees out of 15.5 lakh crore rupees. Is that
600 crore rupees of the money that has been seized?
That has been seized. Now, 600 crores out of 15 lakh crores, is that, can you, add another zero.
1,000 crore.
Add another zero, make it 6,000.
With what putting so many people to inconvenience.
For 50 days. And the other thing that people are questioning now is that why is this happening in select places? Why is the Tamil Nadu chief, is there only one corrupt chief secretary in the country? What's happening to Bombay? Why is nobody getting arrested there? So the point I'm making is that all sorts of questions are being asked, which is denting the credibility of two of our most important institutions. One, the RBI that should issue notes, and one, the Niti Aayog that is running a lottery. So it's become a serious issue, much more than just the ordinance.
Chandra, how do you see this flip flop in terms of the 60 rule in 50 days, government's flexibility or unpreparedness? How do you see
I see it this way. I'm really not worried about how many rules government makes. That's not my business to see. My job as a journalist is to try and criticize the government when it means to criticize, or if I play with the government and fly a kite with the government. I mean, I don't think there can be any perfect solution in this country. I mean, there can never be. I mean, in this history of this 70 years of whatever we are doing, we never had some great perfect solutions.
Okay.
I think there is a significant amount of India that is honest and that wants to remain honest. But they are constantly being pushed into certain areas by people in certain higher positions. The fact that, let's look at from a completely different point of view. I'm going against the run of the mill, which is saying everything has gone bad in this demonetization. Look at this way the nation has accepted it without any violence. Look at the way the people have accepted it. Of course, deaths have happened while standing in the queues, and I would call them just minor hiccups in the great change that India has eventually accepted. Now, if all the cash, which, I mean, I have a feeling that this money was essentially meant for nationalized banks, which were going dry because they had given a lot of money to very, very corrupt businessmen.
Okay.
And they were running dry. There was no chance of recovering those money, which have been turned into NPAs by the companies itself. Whether you call them Winsome Jewelries, or whether you call it maybe Sahara Company, or whether you call Vijay Mallya's Kingfisher Airlines, the list is huge. Now, somewhere down the line, if the money that the banks have accumulated now through all the hard toil of people, if it again goes back to the similar businessmen, then I will feel the entire process has been defeated.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be my genuine concern. But I'm not really worried now. I'm ready to slug it out, sweat it out, and try and give the government
Till
a
how
chance.
long? I mean, till
how long? I've spent 50 days anyway. I haven't really shrunk.
Okay. On this note, we are
So
going to
that's
take
fine,
a short break. We'll come back, and then with the swelling bank offers, can a common man expect deduction in terms of tax cut and income tax rates? We'll discuss after the short break. Welcome back. We were discussing in the first part of this edition of Inside the ordinance, the impact of the ordinance and the necessity of the ordinance. Will the ordinance scare the crooks and force them to deposit the money in banks? Now, my question to you, Jyoti, that what will be the ensuing effect in terms of can a common man expect income tax deduction or something else in form of this, because the money has come back to the bank?
Yeah, that is what is being speculated, that there has been so much criticism of the government move, and also because a lot of people have gone through bad times during this entire phase. So during the time of budget, there may be some relaxation in direct taxes, some exemptions, limits may be increased, and that those kind of sops may come to the common man. So to neutralize the impact of this, and since we are heading for UP elections and elections in Uttarakhand and other states, so government needs a point where people are at least happier than the current situation.
Okay.
So politically, we have seen that demonetization has been used against the government by all political parties. So to basically counter that whole thing, some sort of SOPs may be required, and that is the speculation, that are the indications also we're getting from Finance Ministry that there may be some.
But do you see there's a natural course of action in terms of by RBI or the Finance Ministry, or it could be the political move to soothe the feelings of the common man?
Well, RBI has nothing to do with tax concessions as such, but of course this is for the larger soothing of public sentiments. But if the situation does not, improve after 30th, we may feel that, at some point the Prime Minister has not been able to keep his promise, because that is what the expectations are. But the situation is such that if the exemption limits are removed, exemption for drawing cash, drawing your own hard-earned taxed money is not removed, the queues are not going to come down. ATMs, I was reading somewhere, majority of the ATMs across countries are shut. So that confidence in the banking system is not going to come very soon. Banks apparently have indicated to the government that they don't want the exemption limits to be removed till the cash flow improves. So the entire chain of events, if you remove exemption, there will be a lot of withdrawal from the banks. Banks do not have enough cash. So it is going to lead to multiple problems. If you don't remove exemptions, the queues will continue. The hardships will continue. People who do not normally keep cash at home, many people, even including myself, who never used to keep cash at home, is now worried about how much I'm left with.
Right.
So these are some of the issues which will continue to be there till the exemption limits are removed.
Okay, Shantanu, how do you see that in terms of the tax deduction, income tax rate cuts?
Well, I think
Will it have?
I cannot speculate on what income tax moves the government will make next year. I'm told the budget could be even advanced as early as January. But I get some sense of feeling that there will be some exemptions. The common man needs to be pacified. He is definitely upset. I mean, for everything, it cannot be explained on a blackboard with a chalk. I mean, there are certain things which happens in life, and your personal experience actually matters when you pick up the machine and put that sign and vote that political party. The number of big ticket elections are coming up, Punjab, UP being two of them.
Right.
So the government has to do a system and try and convince people that some of the moves were for their own benefits. Now, I'm happy at one point that a large chunk of money has gone back to our banking system. Am I worried about the fact that I cannot withdraw the money because of certain complications? Yes, I am a little worried. Because there are times when I would need more money at my home, despite the great digitalization effort that the government is pushing me to do. But I'm not worried about the safety of my money. I'm very happy that the money is now doubly safe. I'm not really concerned about that. Yes, I sincerely agree to what Jyoti and even Dr. Khan has said, that the huge queues of which I have also been a part, which is outside the banks, is sending an extremely negative signal. And after all, what plays on your mind is what you see on television that goes through your eyes and into your heart, and you actually see it and you feel a part of it. So government has to replace those queues and come in with something that becomes a part of my life. And I'm just waiting for that to happen. Hopefully, some measures will now come in. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi will make some new plans and give some relief to people. The 50 days has not been very, very happy. They have been, leave aside all the fact that money has come back to the system, the hoarders have been caught, the black marketeers, the hawala traders, the influencers have been caught. But I'm equally worried about my own future, the future of my cash, the future of my savings. So the government has to offer me some answers. I'll wait for that.
Okay. Dr. Khan, there is a saying that the good economics is called good politics, or the good politics is the good economics. If the interest rate comes down, will it be a good politics or will it be a good economics?
Very good question. Let me start off with this issue of what will happen in the budget first, and will the budget take on good economics or good politics? Now, the simple issue there is that I will be very surprised, Jyoti and Shantanu, if there are income tax cuts. Why will I be surprised?
Okay.
You see, what's happened is that however much we might argue against the manner in which this was done, or demonetization, its impact, cost, benefit, etc., clearly the government has won the perception battle, which is what matters in politics. Even now, you have 70, 75, 85% approval ratings, even by people who are standing in the queue at 4 in the morning. So the perception battle is won. Therefore, why tinker with it? Secondly, we have been complaining that the tax GDP ratio is low. The Prime Minister has said it, the Finance Minister said it. Now, will you decrease that tax GDP ratio by decreasing income tax? Why would you do that? Okay. If everybody is happy, if everybody thinks this is a great move, if people like Shantanu are saying that a lot of people are arrested and caught, which is not the case, some people have been, but that's the perception. The perception going out is that these rich, dishonest people are in deep trouble, they are behind bars, and therefore this little bit of...
I didn't say they're all behind bars, but I think a genuine message has gone across.
That some of them are getting caught.
Some of them are getting caught.
That's the point I'm making, that the perception battle has been won, and that has been a great victory. Despite distress,
The phase one is with the PM, with the government.
So-
the phase two could be either way.
So therefore, now people are speculating that if this continues, then it can turn against. But no sign of that. It's 50 days, and even if now when you go and ask people, except people who sit on, who actually don't stand in the queues, the people standing in queues still seem to think that it is a patriotic act, that it is something that they are doing for the future, that it is weeding out black money, and that battle clearly has been won. So therefore, why tinker with that by reducing income tax rates? You're getting, in any case, we are getting 16% of our GDP as tax, so why lower it further? There is nothing else that is happening. Note that business is down, index of industrial production is down, manufacturing is down, all of that is in bad shape, which means that the tax collection from the corporate sector will be down. So that is down already. The growth rate is going to go down by 1/2 to whatever percentage. Now, if you further decrease income tax, then you don't have money. What I think will happen, or what I think should happen, is that instead of lowering tax rates or lowering interest rates, what the government should do is to use money, keep fiscal deficit issues on the back burner for a while, and have large public spending. That large public expenditure will bring some money, liquidity into the market. Most importantly, it will also give some jobs. That is the feel-good factor that will do well politically in elections.
Jyoti, there is a feeling that, okay, the first quarter or probably 2 quarters of this financial year, the coming financial, would have an adverse impact on the economy in terms of when there is a cash crunch, and the unorganized sector is suffering most. So there will be an adverse effect on the economy and the GDP as well. Do you also believe this will be a short-term adverse impact on the economy? In the long term could be the beneficial, but otherwise we are going to suffer?
Well, short term, there will be definitely a problem for first few, I think for the first fortnight and so, there are inventories and there are, people had cash, some cash, so those would have taken care of. But the impact would come with the lag effect also. For instance, I can give, there was a sudden spurt in consumption of petrol and diesel because 500 and 1,000 rupees were allowed there. So probably it's quite natural that in next few days it will come down because obviously you can't use that much. Other case is say a metro card recharge. People up to 2,000 rupees could get their recharge done. So obviously the demand for that will come down. Similarly, in say automobile sector, the purchases are down because in rural areas people used to buy automobiles with cash, and mind you, that may not be black money.
Okay.
So that kind of impact will be there in the long term. As you said, whether it will be beneficial or not, we don't know, because I think even government does not know, because the idea initially was sold as attacking the black money. But what we have seen is that the arrests are of very small people which are happening. There have, I don't agree with Shantanu, there have been incidents of violence across the country. It has not been reported by media. In UP, the highway was blocked. Similarly, bank officials have been attacked across various states. In Northeast, there have been incidents of violence. So there has been, it is not being, probably it's not at such a large scale.
Okay.
And though I partly agree in the sense that the entire anger is now more towards banks and not the Prime Minister or the government. Because even I think Prime Minister mentioned in his speech that it's bank officials who are to be blamed. Now this is something the government should have envisaged before, that if there are leakages in the system in normal times, there will be leakages in the system in abnormal times. So if there is something like demonetization, there are Indians are very good at it. They will find ways of turning their black money into white or getting more cash from the banks than the permissible limits. So that is there. As far as there's another issue which we probably didn't discuss is of fake currency. Now fake currency is available in 2,000 and 500 rupee note also.
Okay.
So I am not too sure about the long-term benefit. The only benefit probably we can achieve is moving people more towards digital economy, using their cards more, which many of us were already doing. But then there are whole issues of whether a village has a POS machine or not,
Okay.
whether they have an ATM which is functional or not, whether people are equipped to use their plastic money.
Plastic money.
Are they educated enough? Is there internet connectivity available? So those are the, if a village does not have electricity and you are teaching that guy to move on to plastic money, I think your priorities are wrong. First you have to give him electricity and then move on to this kind of platform, because electricity is more essential than using your credit card or debit card.
Okay.
So those are the kind of probably that kind of benefit would come. The awareness about keeping cash would also become some kind of it's not the good thing to keep. At present people think very happy when they have a lot of cash, but now probably they'll think that there's a perception that keeping cash is not good. So
Shantanu, your suggestion about that the government has very smartly changed the narrative from black money to the going digital. Is this the government wanted, or how the transition that do you see has affected the common person or the government?
I think I take great advantage from the fact that India's much abused system has finally delivered. That's very important to note here. I'll remind Jyoti Mukul about the fact that I never said that there were no violence. There were sporadic incidents of violence that I personally didn't feel that merited that kind of an attention. I think we journalists are born skeptics. We probably enjoy failure more than success. That's why we always try and figure out if there is a 5 loopholes I can find from that. A huge process of demonetization like this will obviously have its counter effects and will impact people. I understand that I should not keep too much of cash, but if someone tells me to do that, I will point a finger at him. I may not like it. By pushing people to plastic money, I'm not saying, okay, just change to the card overnight. I'm also encouraging a state government to try and ensure and give electricity. I'm asking a power generator company to try and push facilities there. I'm asking people who are giving internet facilities to be absolutely top of their jobs and try and do the work rather than making false promises. As a government, as a prime minister, I can do that much. I mean, I can't just walk across like Chandrasekhar on a padayatra across the country and try and see what's right and what's wrong. But if I'm trying to push in certain systems, the fact that the rich feel insecure is my great victory. And that's what I'm trying to bring in here. I fully agree to my co-panelists when they are saying, yes, there is a matter of concern. Yes, it is a concern. The fact that suddenly my cash volumes have dropped.
Right.
I really do not know whether somebody can raid me even if I have 1 lakh in cash at my home. There could be a possible raid. I could be made to explain that how and from where I got that money. But these kind of systems exist worldwide. That's why people are clean. A large chunk of this country wants to remain clean, but they are tried and pushed into certain corners by those who don't want to be clean. So it's fine. I mean, I would rather say I'm ready to bear the pain of demonetization, but to a certain extent, it can't continue for such a long period. And I'm not saying that all rich people should be put behind bars. I mean, I'm saying people who are essentially indulging in corruption. There is a system, there's a Supreme Court here, which has often castigated the government heavily on this, including on demonetization.
That's
so I would rather keep my faith there. So I would rather say the fact that the system has delivered is my great takeaway home. I mean, that gives me the great advantage that I feel very satisfied that a lot of this black money slowly come out. And these 15 lakh crores have actually come out. I think that's a great advantage.
That is not black money.
Or
15 lakh crores.
No, I'm saying essentially, I'm saying the kind of the government, the money the government was trying to recover or trying to raise.
Hasn't recovered anything. See, the whole problem is,
portion
if I can just continue from there, see the issue, that's the big problem, Shantanu, that we thought that black money will come out. And the estimates were 2 lakh crores, 3 lakh crores, 4 lakh crores.
Who gave that estimate? That's the point also.
The government, right?
Has the government actually mentioned it?
Yeah, that it was 20%, 30%. And therefore,
GDP.
of the 15 lakh crores. And therefore,
approximately 6% of the entire money
we
that is
should
in
have
circulation.
had at least 3 lakh crores.
3 lakhs crore.
Looks like we are going to get nothing. So what has come back is money. Black or white, we don't know. So
So
the
that's for the
systemic,
government to know.
the
So
systemic failure.
where is the disconnect? The entire system is a
No,
failure?
no. So therefore,
I don't think so.
So therefore,
But there have been the cases the money is being caught, the rates are there.
600 crores. Better that figure. I am saying that out of
No, no,
15
how are
lakh
you-
crores,
By
how are
doing
you
so, don't
agreeing
you
to
think
this
by
point?
doing so, for this demonetization, the government is trying to widen the tax net of the common
wait a
person?
minute,
of
wait
the
a minute, wait a minute.
No,
What are we trying to do? Are we saying black money? So Shanthanu's point that that black money has come back. Where has it come back? At best, what is black out of the money that has
A
come
common
back?
man understands very well that the person
Okay,
is
okay,
holding
let
the
me-
money
let
is a
me-
black
I have-
money.
I have gone
So the
and
government is
deposited
very
my
smart
money.
that you
Every-
can adopt from the black money
that
to the going digital.
every money that you hold in cash is not black money.
Okay,
One,
okay.
I
that
started by
finance
saying
minister,
that.
You started by
just-
saying that.
that
I know.
saying that.
Finance minister himself has admitted that whatever money has come to the bank already is not white money. There could be black money as well, which has been, now that it is deposited in the bank,
It's
so it's
become white.
out, and so you get you pay tax. So your black money is basically, it's an amnesty scheme. Then, now I fail to understand where has the system delivered. If Shantanu is arguing that we should be happy about the system delivering, then why are there queues?
Jyoti,
Why is there no money in ATM?
Jyoti, the question
why
is what has
the
it
bank
delivered? The
not
money-
paying
but
you up to
I'm not-
24,000, which was the
Jyoti,
limit?
I'm not
but I'm
speaking
not-
on behalf of the government.
Okay.
That I actually said that in this panel, the money not being in ATM is an abject failure of the government.
Okay.
The government should have got the system in place
Shantanu.
before pushing these figures.
Shantanu, so let's see what the system has delivered. What
Yeah.
did the system try to do? As the anchor said, the system tried to get in black money. We don't know what black money has come in. We know that about the last notification was that 14 lakh crore rupees has come back out of the 15.5 lakh crore rupees. What is come back is not black money. What has come back effectively is white money. Therefore, the question of black money coming back is a huge failure. There is no black money that has come.
No, how can
Wait a
that's
minute,
a very,
wait a minute,
that's
I'll
a
just
no
very
black money has
sweeping,
come.
I'll
that's
just-
a very sweeping
No,
statement.
not a
600,
sweeping
700, 1,000
No,
crore
don't
rupees can
say
be
that.
there.
I mean,
Hey,
just
wait.
now you're offering a 600 crore figure. You could have talked
Shantanu.
another zero, make it 6,000.
No.
So
That is my calculation. That's not
But
yours.
still, there's a no. I'm not calculating anyway because I really don't know the figure. But I know a
just
significant
listen
amount
to-
of black money has come back.
So just listen to me.
Sure.
I am telling you the fact,
sure.
the RBI's figures, 14 lakh crores have come back. When 14 lakh crore comes back to the financial system, that is not black money. So what is black money? All the 1.5 lakh crores that is left, that could be the maximum extent, right? Spending 1.5 lakh crores to get 1.5 lakh crores, is that systemic success? I doubt very much. That's the amount of money that we have spent by an understatement, maybe more. What has happened is that the system has made people wait in line for 5 hours a day for 50 days. That cannot be by any measure called a systemic success. Now, my worry is that, my big worry is that having done all this, what have we done? What have we spent? We've spent about 1,25,000 crores. That's one CMI estimate of the amount of money we will spend printing new notes, the amount of money that is being spent in recalibrating ATM machines, in POS machines. So the extent of expenditure cost that has been incurred is between 1.25 lakh crores to 2 lakh crore rupees. This does not count the opportunity cost of 5 hours per capita standing in queue. Now 2 lakh crore rupees we have spent. If all this goes into returning us to situation as it were, which is what I think is going to be the case after
My
March.
final question, because time is very short. Why would on earth any politician will do such an unpopular move?
No, it's not unpopular. It is
Because
very
it's unpopular.
popular.
The
It is-
entire
but
discourse
he's
of
saying
since
it's
last
all-
50 days,
it's all
the
about
entire
perception.
discourse of the 50s since last 50
the
days have been
perception
about the
battle,
inconveniences
the
caused
perception
by it.
battle has been won. This has been a great move
Okay,
as far
okay.
as a
Fine,
political
I
move
mean,
is
and
concerned.
maybe Dr.
okay.
Khan can be entitled to his statements, but I still believe we are arguing only because the government hasn't given us a figure of the black money.
Okay.
It has.
Okay.
It has. It has said we haven't got black money. See, that is the
never.
issue.
I mean, when
I
did
think
government say it hasn't got
the
black
government
money?
say about the
I don't
RBI
think
government
said-
is saying, RBI is saying the 14 lakh something money has
has
come back to the
So
bank.
where is the money then?
No,
The
of-
15
of-
black-
of
15.4
which-
lakhs,
of which
was
a
in the
portion
circulation.
of that is black.
No, what has come back is not black. What has not come back could possibly be black.
Okay.
I think there is a subjective
And
disconnect
Shantanu,
here.
true. We
So-
will know
so-
the true story only
Yeah,
in
that's
March.
what I'm
That is
saying,
true.
but we both
That is
both
true.
agree to that point.
At the moment, no black money.
At the moment,
I
there
can't
is-
say that,
But
but
we
anyway-
might get a corrected figure in April. Yeah.
I mean,
Okay. The final comment on you about this coming months, and let's say in the 10 or 15 days, if the PM is coming today or tomorrow with some announcement, how do you expect it?
Well, I think when PM addresses the nation again, I think it is on 31st evening, he is probably going to thank people, or at least he should do that, for people undergoing so much pain in last 50 days. And that is what primarily the message would be, since it is believed that it was his idea and his very close set of people with, and was not done with much consultation. So it is the entire benefit, or whatever the brickbats and the benefit entirely falls on his shoulder, not so much on the finance minister probably. So I think there is a case for PM to thank the people of this country for, you know, standing in queues, for going through so much trouble, and as they rightly mentioned, that the perception battle has been won.
Okay.
But he has to ensure that going forward, when once, I don't know, nobody knows, I don't even think the government of India or the RBI knows when the situation will normalize at the banks, the huge mistrust which people have on the banking system, on the ATM machines, I don't know how that government will win back. Okay, it's fine to have DG Melas to promote digital transaction, but the very basic infrastructure of banks has been completely destroyed. Now that confidence needs to come back. So I'm sure the government would do something about that too.
Okay.
And in coming days, if exemptions are not lifted beyond 30th December, then the pain, I think, will continue.
Your final comment, Shantanu? You were not
Well,
agreeing with-
I don't think the banking system has been completely destructed. I also certainly believe that some kind of government mechanism has worked for the first time in the country.
But there is a one narration that the RBI is fighting with the trust deficit image, the credibility crisis.
Precisely. Now that credibility image is only because the supply has not reached
the
that
common man.
logical end,
To the logical
which
end.
should have done, and which I said at the beginning. I'm not battling for the government.
Right.
I mean, I'm not even on any panel of the government. All I'm saying is it has to reach that logical end.
Okay.
The ATMs should have had cash. But that doesn't mean that I am losing my faith on that ATM.
Okay.
I'm not doing that.
So timing is running short. Thank you very much for coming here and discussing. Dr. Khan, thank you very much. Shantanu Gaurav, thank you very much. Jyoti Mukul, thank you also. So the common person would like to see that the advertised benefit of demonetization in form of tax deduction of the cut rates can come, or is this a time over for another bold move by the government? This would be seen and closely watched by the common person in coming days and months. Thank you very much. That's all we have in this edition of Insight.